Can you tell the difference between ions and isotopes? Ions and isotopes are both types of atoms. And remember that atoms are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Ions are atoms of the same element that differ in their number of electrons. Isotopes are atoms of the same element that differ in the number of neutrons. I'm going to give you examples of ions and isotopes, and you have to tell me which one is which. All right, is this an example of an ion or an isotope? These are two atoms of nitrogen. You can see this atom has extra subatomic particles in the orbitals around the nucleus, and it has a -3 charge. So is this an example of an ion or an isotope? This is an example of an ion since there are extra electrons in the orbitals. And that's also because it has a -3 charge. There are 3 extra negative charges for this atom. All right, let's take a look at this one. Is this an ion or an isotope? Look at the protons, neutrons, and electrons for each atom. Since there are 8 protons in the nucleus, these two atoms are both oxygen. And this is an example of an isotope. If you look at this atom, there are 8 neutrons, while this atom has 10 neutrons. So since there are different numbers of neutrons, these are isotopes. Let's take a look at this one. Is this an example of an ion or isotope? These atoms are from hydrogen, and they are examples of isotopes. You can see this atom has an extra neutron. You can see the mass number is actually one more than the other atom. And lastly, are these examples of ions or isotopes? Technically, these are different elements, but you can see this sodium atom giving the chlorine atom an electron, which makes sodium positive and chlorine negative. So these are examples of ions, and there will be an ionic bond between these two atoms.